Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, I've got a very controversial video for you today. A video channel, Scott Schaefer, he does scams. And one of the scams he reported on, he doesn't do scams. He does videos about scams. Let me correct that. He's not a scammer. He reports on scams. One of the scams that he reported on, and I've heard this before, so I thought this would be a perfect time to do a reply to his video. He wrote the greatest scam ever, and it was about Oliver Napoleon Hill, who was born October 26, 1883, passed away November 8th, 1970, and he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the among the best-selling books of all self-help books of all time. Many business schools, many business gurus always advise you to read his book, and he somehow has managed to creep into not only he's like one of the few books that is not only like self-help guru law of attraction kind of things, but actual like business schools of business that teach basic business accounting and business selling. And it's one of the few books that can overlap both genres. So since we're reading about a book, I've got the Pulp Tarot out. Now, I've heard before that the Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, was a scammer. I've heard that before. I heard he didn't follow a lot of his own tenets. The whole premise that that Andrew Carnegie asked him to interview all those millionaires and how did they make their money and all of that has all been debunked. There's not one person that can prove that he ever talked to any of those people. There's not one person that can prove he ever talked to Andrew Carnegie. And as a matter of fact, later on in the years, when somebody asked him for the proof, like his notes or his appointment book, his agenda book, the times and dates that he met with all these great people and then try to correlate, you're not going to believe this. They were all burnt in a fire. So that's another finger pointing at a scam. So actually, I'm not going to say much more because Scott does a great job at explaining Napoleon Hill's life, all the different scams that he was involved with. This isn't the only scam he was involved with. And so like where there's smoke, there's fire. In my mind, he was unsuccessful in a lot of his business ventures, and you're thinking, well, if he knew all this, then why wasn't he more successful? There's different stories about whether he died a multimillionaire or if he died broke. The general consensus is that he died with approximately $1 million in the bank, which would be approximately worth about $9 million in today's dollars. All right, so let's ask, let's just outright ask the cards. Was Napoleon Hill a scammer? Was the whole book, Think and Grow Rich, a work of fiction? Let's check it out. Cards are ready. Ace of Swords. Well, there's some truth, but we have to find out. I just have to make sure my cards are. We have to find out what was the truth, that he was a scammer or the book was the truth. The Empress. Oh, pregnant with possibilities. Yes, that's absolutely true. Well, that's one thing about the book. It told you how many possibilities you had. Oh, illusion, confusion, gaslighting. There were definitely some lies in there. Three of Swords in reverse. There was some betrayal. Six of Swords in reverse. Okay, you know what? There is some truth in the book. So the cards are saying, yes, you have to have a positive outlook, to be pregnant with possibilities, to create things, to, do well in business. You won't do well with a horrible attitude. So that part of the book is absolutely true. some parts of the book are not true. And there is some element of betrayal in here. There was definitely lots of gaslighting, lots of, I'm getting like, look at this card upright, a guru, he's got all these secrets, ancient Indian secret kind of thing. And some of it was absolute gold, and some of it was booby prize kind of stuff. I think uh, he was worried that he was going to be found out during his lifetime, that he actually didn't speak to those people. And interestingly enough, the book actually wasn't published till 1937, till after Andrew Carnegie passed away. So there was absolutely no way to confirm with Andrew Carnegie that Andrew Carnegie asked him to do this. Many years later on, someone asked Andrew Carnegie's secretary at the time, private secretary, who was still alive, and he maintains that Andrew Carnegie never met with Napoleon Hill, never had any communications with him. There were never even any letters written. That was all a fabrication of Napoleon Hill. And the cards are showing us that right here with this Seven of Cups in reverse. King of Wands in reverse. You know what? Even though he maintained this is how, you could be creative and pregnant with possibilities and whatnot, he was a terrible entrepreneur himself. King of Wands in reverse. King of Wands upright could be an entrepreneur, and in reverse is you aren't very good at business. You aren't good at being an entrepreneur. You're a bit of a bully. Your ego is running amok. Interesting. Ooh, Ten of Swords in reverse. You know what? This is really interesting because the book he wrote before this one, something about success or something or whatever, was an absolute flop, and he actually lost quite a bit of money on it. So this book here actually helped him recover from that, right? Because Ten of Swords upright is ruin. But in reverse is, you can pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get going. And that's what this book did for him. It saved him from ruin. It absolutely saved him from ruin. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. There's lots saying that it was his wife, I believe her name was Rosa, was a big part of this book. That the way she pushed it, or it was her ideas, or it was like this King of Wands, he wanted to prove to his wife that he could support her and keep her in the luxury that she was accustomed to. She might have been the one who betrayed him, but this was not his first wife. I believe he ended up being married 3 times, and I believe Rosa was his second wife. And that's who he was married to while he was writing this book. So there's a lot of whispers that this book was actually her idea. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, you know what? He was broke. He was really broke. He did not employ his own things that he wrote about, and I think it's because it wasn't his things. I think it was hers. Right here with the 2 of Pentacles, she knew how to balance the book. She knew how to keep things interesting. I said it's one of those books that are in the self-help and in the official business world. And she, I think that book has been successful in that. I also don't think while he was alive, the book brought him that much money. Maybe brought him out of poverty, paid some of his bills, but I don't think he was actually, I was just going to say, I don't think he became a millionaire out of it. Now we have 10 of Pentacles upright. But you know what? I think his family ended up with more abundance than he ever did. I don't think he made, while he was alive, that much money from it. Like I said, it paid the bills, got him out of poverty, paid down his debts. But I think it was the next generation that actually made more of the money. They maybe knew how to market it a lot better, because it really did take off in the 60s, late 60s, 70s, when a lot of the like Amway and those kind got into it. And actually, that I'm doing a little sidebar here. That's how Abraham Hicks started. They were in Amway and they were teaching Think and Grow Rich to their downline, and then they became Abraham Hicks. So there's a little twist that you probably didn't know. So I actually think that, and this almost looks like Napoleon Hill. Just put a pair of glasses on that man, and there's his children and his grandchildren enjoying the fruits of his labor versus him. They became more rich than he did, but from the sales of the book, not from the mindset of the book. Oh, the emperor. Yeah, you know what? Interesting. He is the guru of the self-help law, for lack of a better term, law of attraction world when it comes to money. Think and Grow Rich. He's the emperor, even though there were other authors at the time. There was Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. There was William Atkinson. There was another fellow named Quincy in the 1800s. There's many others, but he became the emperor. He became, Napoleon Hill is synonymous with mindset and making money. Page of Wands in reverse, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Queen of Swords upright, and the Sun and the Two of Cups. Yeah, you know what? I think this was a collaboration with his wife. I'm not sure he wrote a lot of it. I think she did. And someday that will come to light. But it was definitely a collaboration. I wish I knew her birth date, because then I would see if she's a Queen of Swords, but that's a writer, right? Queen of Swords, anything to do with swords and writing, that's a writer. But yet he got all the fame. No different than the Rider-Waite tarot cards that we use today. Pamela Smith was the one who did all the illustrations, but we call them Rider-Waite because the Rider Company published them, and author Waite was the one who promoted them. And in the long run, she doesn't get any of well, she does now, but for a long time, nobody even knew who drew the cards. Strength, Seven of Swords, Three of Wands, Five of Wands in reverse, Six of Wands. Yeah, you know what? I think for a long time it was at the top of the heap of a strategy, of how to plan forward, how to use your mind to get things that you want. Put it out in the world and just be patient. Here's your mind, right? Here's her little bubble hat. Here's your mind. Just put it out in the world and be patient. And I think a lot of people struggled with the book. I don't think a lot of people were very successful with the book, and they might have said, yeah, I use Think and Grow Rich, but you know what actually helped them make their millions is they took action on some of their dreams. They put those dreams out there, but they took action on them. They didn't just, sit on the couch and wait for someone to bang on the door and give them opportunity. They went out and took action, and then they said, oh, it was the book. It wasn't the action that I took. Because people believe what they want to believe, right? They want to believe. But I don't think a lot of people have been very successful with Think and Grow Rich. They said, it's on their bookshelf or whatever. But to me, it's like reading a book about swimming and never jumping in the pool and then saying, oh, you're an expert at swimming. But if you read a book about swimming and then do all the things that they tell you to do in the book and you win a gold medal, then you say, oh, I read this amazing book. No, it's the actions that you took. That's why you were successful. You read the book, Think and Grow Rich, and because you wanted to start your own business, so you started your own business, you rented a shop, you sold your goods, you put a sign out front, and everything was going well, and you're making money, and you say, oh, it's all to this book, Think and Grow Rich. No, it's because the actions that you took. And the same can be said if you read the book and nothing happened because you didn't do anything. You can't blame the book. You can blame that you didn't do anything. It's not the law of attraction. It's the law of action. All right. Well, there you go. There's my reply to his video. Yeah, I think part of the scam is that he didn't even write it. I think his wife wrote the book. Um, I think I don't know if there's a lot of lies in it. I think that's the biggest lie is that his wife wrote the book. He didn't. He took all the credit for it. I don't think he was as wealthy as he says he was. I think his children actually made more money from the book. His children and grandchildren are reaping the fruits of his labor. But there was some truth in the book. Absolutely. Got to have a positive mindset. Can't just take all action and have a crappy mindset. Things won't work that way either. So there was some truth in the book. All right. Well, thank you very much. Hope you found this interesting. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.